ODAY is a day of great rejoicing, beloved people of New York, America, and students of the light. The great cosmic light is beginning to take its dominion in the earth and upon the earth. In my capacity as silent watcher to the earth, I watch the activity of the energy released, and see to what degree mankind is responding. Then came the day when that great blessed ascended being Saint Germain determined of his own volition to try once again to bring the light to the world. In this effort he has proved his great wisdom. Today enough of mankind, through their call to the mighty I Am Presence, have made it possible for a sufficient release of the great cosmic light to come into action, to not only sustain that which Saint Germain had worked during more than 200 years to accomplish for America, but to bring forth more than he could possibly have hoped. In the release of the great cosmic light, no one, not even myself, expected to see its permanent release begin so quickly. I say this to the earnest, sincere students of 110. The light for your encouragement, because the accomplishment is very great. Let no one of the earnest, sincere students ever again feel that he has not accomplished what he would like to have done. Beloved ones, you have accomplished so much more than we have even dared mention to you, that I want you to have all the encouragement possible. Go on, in your mighty call, and never let your human nor anyone else's interfere with your onward progress or the expansion of the light within your heart. It must take place at your call, for remember, this light called forth knows no resistance nor interference. It is the power of the universe, and all human discord dissolves before it. There is no question about that. If you will be patient a little longer, you will see the power of its activity, as the dissolving process of the discordant creation of mankind begins to show its outpicturing upon earth. There is no power to interfere with this light, with you individually, collectively, nor for your nation. No power of human creation can interfere with it. The war entity of the world, if you are not familiar with the term, is composed of the destructive creations of mankind, and they are numerous. Let us for illustration enumerate a few. The greatest perhaps of all is the war entity. That is the created form, dear people, which draws into itself the destructive qualities of war. When humanity becomes too discordant, it seizes upon one or more individuals among mankind and instigates war. It stirs up one nation against another, for no reason at all. In all the wars that have ever been on the face of this earth, and I have watched them all, there has never been a reasonable cause for one, not once. Any excuse was used to pit human beings against each other under some pretense, usually for commercial purposes. In watching through many centuries, seeing the distress and hearing the call of mankind through prayers to God by the millions, and being the silent watcher to the earth, I was compelled to know all that has caused war. Yet, because of the free will of mankind, we could not interfere with it. The great cry of humanity has gone up so long, and now the explanation is being given for the first time. Most people did not even believe the ascended masters existed. Yet, they are those from your humanity who came into our great octaves of light, and have called to the powers of the great central sun, as you know it. They have called for the power of the great cosmic light to be released, to prevent humanity destroying itself. This point you will understand. No human being can be deprived of understanding when he reaches out with the feeling of the heart. Now, this will explain to you many things which the majority of the have not understood, and why people who have been on the pathway of light and through failure and disappointment have turned from the path, became what in the outer world is termed black magicians. The free will of mankind may not be interfered with, because individuals must choose how they are going to use this mighty energy which flows from their presence through their bodies. It is always flowing. Truly it is only a fragmentary part of what one can call forth, but still it is enough to do much damage and produce tremendous destruction. Therefore, today in the Ascended Master's call to the great beings who govern the release of energy and light to the earth, the great ones responded. They have seen that Saint Germain has won the victory of gaining the attention of a few of mankind, by which they could encourage and amplify the activity, until the release of the cosmic light could come into action to produce the needed result. That has begun. You will see take place some very astounding things to the human sense. Remember, dear people of Earth, and I wish that every human being on the face of the earth might hear these words tonight. We are charging them forth into the mental and feeling world, but even so, one wish they might be conscious of and hear them as you do. No longer will the discordant, destructive qualities and creations of mankind retard the progress and the freedom of the earth. Mankind has prevented it for many, many centuries in their discord of every description, until the earth's atmosphere became so charged with discordant creations that blessed mankind scarcely knew where they were. Look about you today. You see many wonderful blessed ones, but when something a little unusual occurs, they become so confused they scarcely know what to do. That is because of the condition of the atmosphere of Earth, but be encouraged. With tremendous speed this great cosmic light is being charged into the atmosphere of Earth, and hundreds of thousands of discarnate entities, earthbound for years and centuries, are being taken out of the Earth, for they have harassed mankind in every conceivable way. If you could see what has been done for your beloved city since the messengers were here the last time, you would rejoice as never before in your whole life, or in all your lives, for the freedom and blessing which is coming to mankind so rapidly. Many, many of the beloved students under Saint Germain are already feeling the great release, the great happiness, the greater, more rapid response to their decrees and their desires, which are being fulfilled. Go on and on and on, beloved ones. Never waver in your call to the presence, remembering its law is all-powerful. You are the victory of light in the acceptance of your presence and your call to it. We have watched the letters that come to the messengers, with such intense calls for release. Thousands and thousands of those calls are being answered, some of them instantly, according to the ability of the individual to quiet the human and let the power directed flow in and do its perfect work. Oh, precious people of Earth, once you understand and realize that as you still yourselves in your acknowledgement of the God presence individualized above you, whose ray of light and energy beats your heart. As you observe in the chart you will feel and know definitely that no power in the universe can longer interfere with, retard, limit, or cause you to be ill or unhappy. No power in the universe can longer bind or hold you. Will you not feel this, beloved ones? Just let the great power from the presence flow in and through you, washing out, dissolving, and consuming everything within your human form, every discordant thing, replacing all imperfection by the limitless energy and self-luminous, intelligent substance from the presence. It will cause your body to be strong and well, filled with limitless energy, power, and enthusiasm. Then as the light within your heart expands, illumines the mind, and continues, the density within the structure of the brain steadily and surely dissolves, until you become alert, aware of these great finer vibrations which touch you. They are the promptings from your presence, which will direct you unerringly in every move of the day, as you will come to know. The presence that gives you life is all-powerful. It is all-wise. Learn to still yourself. Then in your firm, calm, determined call, the greater volume and intensification of its energy will flow into your heart first, then into your brain, and you will feel clearly and definitely its promptings concerning what you should do when you call. Understand, beloved ones, the difference between intellectual attainment and intelligence. Intellectuality is accretion, being information which you gather from the world of appearance, merely one human being's opinions imposed upon or amplified by another. Intelligence comes from the mighty I Am presence, which gives you life, and whatever comes from that presence is always correct. It never makes a mistake in the world. Human beings coming into this light sometimes mistake their own human desires for the promptings of the presence, but that is not the fault of the presence. As one trains himself to stand on guard about accepting all that comes through, until he is sure it is his presence directing, then he will have clear, definite direction. Every human being on the face of the will know exactly what he should do, as so many of the beloved students do today. One blessed gentleman whom we know in your city here, knows clearly the definite activity of the day 1 hour from the time he arises in the morning. All may do that, if they will. Your higher mental body is a form just as tangible in its own octave as your flesh body is here, and stands between your presence and your human form. Your higher mental body is your discriminating, selective intelligence. It is through your higher mental body that the power of your presence answers your call, for your higher mental body knows the perfection which the presence is and knows your imperfections, your trials, and your struggles. It knows exactly what to release at your call to give you the happiness, the supply, the health that you require. It is all-powerful, but if in your consciousness there is a feeling of doubt or you are wavering, then you will not have the immediate result which you would if your acceptance in the feeling were complete. Your feeling world, dear people, is your powerhouse. Your thought is but a small portion of it. If it be a decision between your thought and feeling, your feeling will win every time, because it is that from which your power comes. When people enter into wholly destructive activities, they only have the energy already gathered about them in their feeling world. As far as the hands extend, or sometimes slightly farther. Whatever energy they have already gathered is the only energy they will have to use. When that is gone, they are finished. There is another condition which has been so prevalent in the world, until recently. It is disembodied entities who pass on suddenly with very destructive qualities. They stimulate individuals and keep charging them for a time with added energy, causing them to do their bidding. Great release, beloved ones, has been brought to mankind through the calls of the I Am students to have the discarnate entities bound and taken from the earth. It has saved suicides by the hundred, and yet it has only just begun. Dear people, when the call is made to have all entities about individuals seized and bound, and instantly results are manifested, there is no disputing the fact that the discarnate entities were the things which were causing the difficulty and limitation of the individual. The entities have been taken out by the thousands. The law is explained, if anyone cares to observe it and profit by it. I wish all to know that in the Ascended Master's understanding of the great law of life, which is your life, the outer world has no authority at all. There are human opinions, plenty of them, but that does not mean those opinions are correct. The only ones who know the solution of life are the Ascended. Humanity, their call, have released themselves from the limitations of earth. Today they stand ascended beings in the great plan of life, wholly free. They have gone every step which you are required to go and know every requirement. Therefore, they are the ones who can teach you, and the only ones in the whole world who can teach you the truth of life. That has been accomplished in the Saint Germain books which are for your use. Therefore, beloved ones, profit by this great truth which is before you. We cannot compel you to accept it, but the messengers offer it in so great a love and kindness. Do you know, dear ones, that in the case of the young man who tried to disturb the messengers in Boston, this good messenger saved his life? That is how great his love and understanding is. Thousands of times the messengers have drawn the destructive qualities of blessed students and individuals into their own bodies, and there dissolved the discord for them in order to protect them. That is what divine love means. I want the people of New York this time to remember that the messengers never send forth a destructive thought or feeling, no matter what any vicious gossip may say. They are firm, courageous, and strong, but they never condemn or judge. Therefore, they call forth without cessation the power of the I Am presence of every individual, of the students, of humanity, and of America, to take command of the mind and body of every individual, produce its perfection, and hold its dominion in and for every one. They bless the police officers, the United States government and its people, industries that bring the supplies to mankind, transportation, and especially the aerial transportation which humanity needs so much. Their only thought and feeling is to bless those great activities. They bless the school teachers, the firemen, and all public servants. The messengers bless without cessation, and that is why, beloved ones, if once mankind would come, listen, and see, they would understand the love, the blessing, and the power of light given forth in the classes of the messengers. Thousands more could then have their freedom, if they only would. No one is compelled to come, but thousands could come and be harmonious within the freedom which is here in the teachings of Saint Germain. So, I say to you, blessed ones, the hour of your freedom is here, if you care to accept this understanding and apply it. It will not apply itself, but you can, if you will, apply it with infinite power, freedom, and glory, and bring to you the supply of every good thing your heart desires for use. I am going to say this tonight because the calls to the messengers in the last 2 months have been so tremendous for the supply of individuals. Beloved people, you who are here tonight, observe this chart. It is absolutely accurate, according to your position to your own God presence, but your higher mental body, which is in between, is not pictured on that chart. The presence is your life, and beats every human heart in this room, the heart of everyone in the world, and the individual who is foolish enough to be stubborn, or who will not receive this truth, will go down in his limitations in the years ahead. I am not talking to hear myself. I am offering my assistance for the blessing of you precious ones here and the freedom of the people of America. Europe and the Orient are in such a state that unless some great cosmic miracle, so-called, is performed, there is little hope. But America, which is still free, in the call of her blessed humanity shall remain so. Without the light of America, the world, the earth is lost. Do you know, beloved people, that should the third episode in Washington's vision take place in your America, there would scarcely be enough people left on the earth to make one small city? You are facing conditions today, beloved people of the earth, when more than human assistance, more than human activities must come forth if the people are to be saved. The messenger has told you of his experience at the Royal Teton, where the great cosmic screen was set in action and the future of America shown, which certainly indicated the victory of the light in America. I say to you tonight, it looks most wonderfully encouraging. With all the power of my activity from the octave of light, I shall act within the mental and feeling world of mankind to stir them up, and draw into this understanding of the mighty presence as many as possible. More are still needed to gain the balance and hold it, but in this service rendered on the 7th, I shall expect to see many wonderful things take place for the blessing and protection of humanity. I say to all the earnest students throughout America and the world, do not let down for 1 hour in your calls to the presence. I do not mean that you should become excited or frenzied. You know the assistance and call which are required. In the great calm, determined call to your presence, it will release power of which you could scarcely imagine. Remember, this power is invincible, even with yourselves, the cosmic light, and the world. Only when you see its great invisible activity coming to a certain point, do you begin to see the manifestation or outpicturing of it in the physical world. Before it can outpicture, beloved people, it must dissolve and consume the discordant things which have prevented the outpicturing of this great perfection throughout the centuries. Mankind has lived hundreds and thousands of embodiments similar to these. Then what has been wrong? The great, simple truth that the individual's attention has not been called to his own God presence, which beats each heart. Without that, beloved people, I say to you there is no hope for any human being on earth. There is no stabilization, there is no anchorage anywhere. This is the condition which exists in the great majority of mankind today. Through the sex depravity, the misuse and waste of the energy through anger, hatred, and the misuse of sex, the life energy has gone from mankind. Individuals cannot gather it back. Only the people who understand their own mighty I Am presence can restore the energy which is gone, but they cannot restore it if they continue in the old habits. That is what is the matter with the people who do those things. Many do not resist the mass suggestions. They feel they can go on in the old sex habits. I tell you they cannot do it. If they do not save the energy, which is life in them, then direct it forth in constructive activities, how in the name of that presence is anybody to have help, release, and freedom? Dear people, we are speaking to you with all kindness and love. Many of mankind rebel when they are told they must discontinue waste of the life energy RF, they are to be sustained and helped. Many have believed they lived only for pleasure gratification, because they had been taught that it was the reason for being here. Dear people, you are here as beings of light. One day you shall be the victory of light. When this cosmic light takes a little more of its dominion in earth, the wrong sex desire within mankind will vanish from the face of this earth. All abnormal sex desire will disappear from the feeling world of mankind. All discord and selfishness will disappear from the face of the earth. Mankind shall love each other as they should. There will be no thought of criticism, condemnation, or judgment of another anywhere in the world. Then, the fullness of the light of God, the mighty I Am presence, will come forth and take command of individuals, produce health and perfection, and hold its dominion in earth forever. This is a final battle between light and darkness upon the earth. Being silent watcher to this earth, I know whereof I speak, and I lend all of the powers of my being to produce the victory of light in America and the world. I say, in all of humanity there is not the power which is in one of my hands. Do not misunderstand me. I am not speaking of this messenger. I am speaking of my own hand, the silent watcher. When this power of the cosmic light permits, then there shall be released into the earth the power of the light. The victory of the light, which dissolves all human selfishness and discord from the planet. Oh, beloved people, what a magnificent thing on the face of this earth such a condition would be. Take your city here, imagine what it would be with beauty and perfection, with all filled with love of humanity, love and kindness to each other. Every human being would know such happiness as has never been dreamed of on the face of this earth. That is what shall be, but it can only come by enough of humanity understanding that they have their own individualized God presence, the mighty I Am. They must make the call to it with all determination and earnestness. Beloved people of earth. Oh, that humanity might understand, in spite of the whole appearance world, that these great beings of light are using every means the cosmic law permits at this time, to give humanity the strength and encouragement which help them to make the call. Until enough light is released to permit the ascended masters to do the work. In all eternity, humanity could never pour forth enough gratitude and love to Saint Germain. His power, strength, courage, and wisdom in carrying forth the light to humanity thus far, is the greatest thing that was ever done on the face of this earth. Poor unfortunate human beings who quibble over the idea that Saint Germain has been put ahead of Jesus. What a silly nonsensical thing. Jesus is assisting in this work for humanity as much as Saint Germain, and so are many of the other ascended masters. The gods of the mountains, the god Taba, Meru, Himalaya, and the guardian of the Swiss Alps, are doing tremendous work for humanity. These great beings, beloved people, are real. They are tangible. The ascended master, who has gained his freedom by having made his ascension, is as tangible as any human form on earth, and far more so. Just because humanity's attention has not been called to them before in this way, does not alter the fact nor indicate that they do not exist. Dear people, try to contemplate often the three faculties you constantly use: your attention, your power of qualification, and your physical sight, your vision. These faculties would set you free in such a short time that it would astonish you, if you only used them in the right manner. The power of your attention alone would set you free in no time, if you would only hold it where it belongs instead of accepting the appearances of imperfection and limitation. You cannot know a thing without placing your attention upon it. Where your attention is, there you are. What your attention is upon, you become. Do not lose sight of that, please, if you want to be free. Humanity has been enmeshed so long in the activity of imperfection, until individuals turn away from it and turn to the presence, allowing the power of the presence to dissolve it by the use of the violet consuming flame, and to envelop them in the tube of light which makes them invincible to discord. How in the world can the people have freedom? We know they cannot. We have seen all through the centuries. They have had hundreds of embodiments in which they have lived, yet they have not gained their freedom. Those who will give their attention to the presence and call it into action with unyielding determination, will shortly find themselves in a glory inconceivable, and a strength, courage, and power within them that is the victory of the light which beats their hearts. I say to the beloved ones, you cannot compel people to listen, but wherever there is an opportunity, let each one at least try to gain one or more individuals' attention to this light. As that continues, in a year's time there would soon be 1 million who are interested. It would be so easy in another year's time to have 1 million people in America interested and understanding this great presence of life, then your troubles would be over. Oh, I tell you, dear people, no thing in the world is so important as getting those books to as many of humanity as possible. Do not let anyone be so foolish as to think this is said with any thought or desire to sell those books. God knows, if such a thought were ever back of them, they would never have gone forth. Human beings must have their attention called to the presence, to God, who beats their hearts. In the explanation that is before them in this chart, even children can understand with a clearness and power which gives them their freedom. So, I say to you beloved ones, if you wish to serve, if you wish to help to gain this freedom, do whatever you can to help spread these books and magazines, and fill the auditoriums where the messengers are. Call. Decree. Oh, beloved ones, put the power of your I Am presence in your decrees to open the way and let these broadcasts go throughout the whole of America. It is the quickest means by which the attention of mankind may be called to this great presence. Then call their attention to the books through which they can study this law, apply it, and have their freedom. The messengers can only reach a small part of humanity in these classes, even if your largest auditoriums were filled every place they go. This work, beloved ones, is not something that can be given in a few days in 1 or 2 lectures. In a 10-day class only a small part of it can be covered, but they can give enough to enable mankind to understand the power of the presence, apply it, and have their freedom. This is the reason why Saint Germain has not brought forth deeper activities of the law of life. He could so easily do. Mankind's attention must be held upon this great God presence until their calls are sufficient to place America where it is safe. Then the other can follow, but it will not follow until they make this call first. We pour out such great love and deep gratitude for all every blessed student in America has done, for their calls and sincere efforts. Oh, how deep is our gratitude to every group leader in America and the world, for their courage and strength to go forth and carry this as best they understand. That more and more and more of humanity's attention may be called to this great presence, from whence comes the power of freedom and light. Tonight, when Blessed Lotus broadcast, I utilized the opportunity to amplify it with tremendous power and speed, that it might go forth and do its work everywhere. I wish to add my word of encouragement tonight for the mighty call which began to go forth. The limitless legions of light now move across the face of the earth, and all human darkness disappears. What a mighty thing it is! Let me tell you that actually, tangibly, today starts that great legion of light across the face of the earth. Remember it. Feel it with all the power of your entire being. That mighty legion today starts its move across the face of the earth, and all human darkness shall disappear. We want that to disappear before any destruction reaches America, because of the onward progress which is required in the expansion of this light, freedom, and the ascension of thousands in America. Dear people, let me assure you that the ascension is as mechanical, as natural and practical as anything you do in the outer world today. Only because mankind has not understood it have individuals looked upon it as something incredible and impossible. People today scoff and say, why the idea of the ascension? Why are not some of the I am students making the ascension? They had better mind their own business. There have been 3 ascensions in America which started the proof of this great activity, and because ignorant individuals will not accept it, does not alter the truth of its reality. This good brother here witnessed 3 ascensions in America, and through his body was given assistance to 1. Let all beware who deny it. That does not alter the truth. Precious ones, I say to you, because of the stubbornness of humanity who refuse to believe these things, they just go on in that same ignorance and remain in it. Again, I say to you, and spread this word everywhere, no longer is humanity dealing with human beings. They are dealing with the power of the cosmic light, the cosmic beings, the ascended masters, the Legion of Light and its mighty director. Therefore, no longer can humanity hold its bondage upon individuals by discord, for they are dealing with the powers of light. They are not dealing with this messenger. They are dealing with the powers of light. Let all the world understand that. There have been those individuals who thought if they could destroy the messengers they would stop the expansion of this light. Let me tell you, it is too late. This light will go on whether the messengers are here or not. They have done their work and done it well. They have had the courage, strength, and power of a regiment to carry forth this light so fearlessly as they have done, and our love and devotion enfold them forever. Remember, beloved people, the opportunity of all the lifetimes you have ever lived is here before you. Choose to utilize this great light and presence, and you can be free. Refuse, and the responsibility for that choice is yours. Remember, dear people, we cannot compel anyone. We are offering the truth of life. You are free to accept or reject it, but I tell you everyone who rejects it will know it is true one day, when it is too late. How you will wish and cry out that you could have accepted it when it was offered with such great love and kindness. Sometimes the messengers have been criticized because they were firm in holding this light free from contamination of any kind, but you are the beneficiaries of that protection. Because their strength was enough to keep this channel of light clear and free, you are the ones who are receiving the blessing. Our blessed lotus. Beloved people of the earth, you will never know the service that she has rendered. Sometimes those about her have thought she was unnecessarily firm, but I tell you, one day you will know what that has meant to mankind. I say to you, oh, beloved students, how our hearts rejoice in seeing the great infinite love which has poured out to these two beloved messengers from the students all over the world. Never was such a thing done before. There is such a wondrous love poured out to them from more than 400,000 people, for there are many people who have the books and magazines who have never contacted the classes. Yet their love pours out. Daily, dozens of letters come from people who have not been in the class, with the same great outpouring of love to them, because it is right and it is real. That is why I thank all the beloved students of America and the world for their great love which has been poured out. It is your freedom, dear ones, and it is their strength and assistance. Remember, today the effort is almost nothing in comparison to what it was the first year that they gave out this work. Then, they had to break down the human walls of doubts, fears, criticism, condemnation, and hate. Those walls went down every time, and our eternal love, blessing, and gratitude pour to those messengers. Today there are thousands and thousands in America who are strong, firm, and unyielding in their call and use of the light. To you who have read the books, I cannot refrain tonight from calling your attention to those blessed children, Rex, Bob, Nada, and Pearl. So recently they stood in physical bodies like yours. Today they are beings of light and freedom, wielding the power of the light rays, which is a delight to the ascended masters. These beings, who were right here in your America, were set free. Mr. and Mrs. Rayborn, and the gentleman, his wife and son from Tucson, Arizona, were also raised. These beings right here in your own America such a short time ago were in bodies of limitation. Dear, dear people, I plead with you, put out of your consciousness, feeling, and world all doubts of the reality of these great beings or your presence. Call it forth with a firm determination, so no longer can the human creations about you interfere with it or cause you to remain in limitations of any kind. I say to you who need financial help for your comfort and shelter, dear people, your presence is the treasure house of the universe. It will release and bring into your use whatever you require. Do not give why, I plead with you, to appearances just because you have in the past. Stand firm and unyielding, keep calling your presence into action, keep calling for your supply, and if you need money, say, Mighty I am presence, I must have money. Release it into my hands and use through the power of divine love, then stand and be receptive to whatever direction you will receive, for you will be caused to do whatever is necessary in assisting in its release. Everyone who has stood unyielding by the presence, with firm determination, has had the results. No human being on the face of this earth can fail to have the results, if he will stand firm and unyielding with it and not give way to these appearances when they keep howling, oh, your decree did not operate. Your application has not worked. All such things are but human suggestions which will cause you to waver and become discouraged. I plead with you, do not do it. Your presence is the power of the universe. There is nothing in human creation that can stay its power, if you stand by it and keep calling it into action. Do not yield to the limitations of money or anything else. This power is in your presence. The intelligence is there which will cause you to do what is necessary, to give you the assistance and help. Dear people, you have not only your call, you have such enormous assistance, more than ever before in the world. So I say to you, stand unwavering. Do not yield to this appearance world any longer. Because it has frightened you once, it need not do it again. The great intelligence, the great presence, the great power is the power of light, which will never forsake you. You have forsaken it many times, but it never has forsaken you. When you understand that your firm determination brings the release from the presence, then you will be firmer and firmer and firmer than ever in your call. I thank you with all my heart for this opportunity of speaking to you tonight. May you feel the great, the mighty truth of the words I have spoken. Let them do for you all I should love to do. Feel their strength, power, and courage flooding your feeling world, your being, with the power which they are. Have the eternal glory and freedom come quickly into your experience, which is permanent and eternal. All that you are gaining these days is yours forever. It is not something, dear ones, which is here today and gone tomorrow, as your experiences of the past have been. It is a great, a mighty law of your being, of your life, set into action to produce the permanent result. In the fullness of the presence of the great cosmic light, I call it to enfold each one of you in its strength, its alertness, in its activity, in its mighty directing intelligence. To clothe you in itself and carry you forward quickly into the full consciousness of your domain and freedom in the power of your application. Permanent results come only through your own dynamic application. Remember, you are the decreer of how this mighty energy from God, your mighty I Am Presence, shall act for you, in and through you in your world. Ask your presence to stop all wrong qualification through your feeling world, and so charge it with the perfection of the presence, that no longer does the human qualification act to clothe the wondrous energy as it goes forth, with anything but perfection for you. I make this call for you tonight, mighty I Am Presence of each one of these beloved ones, every I Am student throughout America and the world, charge their feeling worlds this hour with the power of thy courage, strength, and thy eternal freedom. Sustain them in thy activity and power of light, until the outer consciousness gains the full realization of thy power of light and its eternal freedom, acting in and through each individual who will give his attention to it. Great powers of light, strengthen mankind. Cut them free from every limitation of every kind. Seize and bind all entities, carnate and discarnate, take them from the octave of earth, and set all humanity free forever, that the fullness of the call of each one may find its immediate dominion. I thank you.